Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. One of you in the comments of the last one requested another game between Xfactor and Chisato, and so here we have on the map the Cold Place. I believe this was one of the other matches that were part of the final in the last tournament, so I'm not sure what the standing was at the point in this game, but this looks like it should be a good one. Bear in mind at this point these players had been playing for a very long time. This match was actually played UK time at 20 past midnight. So quite a late one for these players. So as we go ahead and zoom on into Xfactor, we can see that he is spawned in the bottom right of the triangle here and is Cortex bots, and on the left side we have Chisato in red as Armada bots. Now we've seen this map before on the channel, and just for those that are new around here, there's some key things to mention, and what that is why bots? Well, quite simply, this entire section up here of cliffs can be passed terrain by bots. If we select this, you can see that they can move all around up there. Vehicles cannot get up there, so that's very important to be aware of. Now, interesting choices of start positions here. Now, we can see that Chisato has gone for I would argue, a more forward position here. He could have started here and had plenty of metal points, but that does expose him then to run-bys. Whereas in the hills and the cliff area, I guess you can still be ran by around like that. But if your opponent has gone vehicles, then that's just not going to happen. Quickly going to see if Chisato manages to catch anything out here. Trying to keep on both that. Yes, he does get the construction bot and the metal extractor being built. That's not good for Xfactor. He's already one construction bot behind. And he's going to pull back at that point. Going back to our previous statement, though. Chisato has got a good position here to launch forward to get control of this kind of chokehold, should we say. However, Xfactor here has two very long lines where his base is a long way from the front. Now that's a good thing and also a bad thing. It means his base is less likely to get raided because he's so far from the front. But if Xfactor is not able to push up, he's going to lose out on a substantial amount of metal. Chisato talking to himself then. Oh, he is going to get another metal extractor. Chisato able to deny 2 metal extractors and a construction bot so far. And another wave of ticks on their way in as well. And these naked expansion construction bots here have no units to defend them as well, so you might be about to lose yet another construction bot. Yep. So far Xfactor losing 2 construction bots and 2 metal extractors, just the ticks. And we can see here now the hills that we were talking about. We quickly select player view. You can see that Chisato losing ability to see up in those hills, and does a very good job at kind of hiding the hills, hiding the units in the hills there. But he knows they're there. It's just that the radar isn't able to get up there. We can select the radar. You can see here that the areas that are hidden is quite a lot, which is the one downside of having your base there. Now, this army is going to get collapsed upon here. The hills actually are kind of a negative for grunts because they want to be fighting at their most possible longest range to keep out the range of pawns, but pawns are able to just kind of like go behind the hill and get close, which is not what he wants as a grunts player, X-Factor. Meanwhile, we can see that in terms of expansion, Chisato's doing a lot better here. He's on 30 metal income as opposed to the 25 of X-Factor. X-Factor losing those 2 construction bots has put him behind a bit. And not looking too good economy-wise. Lucky enough for Chisato here, X-Factor hasn't spotted those 2 engineers. Oh, never mind. He has just now. He will probably get both of these. Yep. So now they're on equal pegging in terms of lost construction bots at this time. And that was, before he went in on it, exactly what we meant about grunts versus pawns. Grunts have a longer weapon range than pawns. Pawns have a range of 180, grunts with 230. So if the micro is good and the terrain is good, grunts can outrange pawns forever. And so pawns is generally played by a lot of high micro intensive players because of that. But you know, you lapse in concentration for 1 second and the pawns are right on top of you. So another good little bit of harass here from X-Factor, managing to get another construction bot. Meanwhile, it's nowhere near as pushed up as we were hoping. So far, he's still about 5 metal a second behind. Chisato is able to claim this chokehold point with his commander here. We see some air being produced here by X-Factor at the back. This little force back here is just kind of skirting around, trying not to get noticed. The fairly decent size of grunts here about to walk into Chisato's commander. X-Factor is going for a bit of a ballsy play here by investing quite a lot into bombers right now. So far, he only has the 1, but second one is being just finished, actually. X-Factor, you can see here, also hasn't built the Geo at all. But Chisato actually migrating to Tech 2 right now, and Tech 2 vehicles at that. X-Factor trying to get the flank behind here. Now, what do we expect right now from these players? Well, that's a good question. I was not expecting Chisato to try and migrate across to vehicles. That's an interesting choice. As we mentioned earlier on with the hills here, it does limit your options. Sorry for my bad camera work there as well. It limits your options in terms of where you can move. And if X-Factor continues to stay on the front of bots, then he can just flank all of Chisato's Tech 2 tanks with ease. Now, Bomb and Run is on its way out. At the same time, though, 12 pawns are on the way, and there's no forces down there to stop him. X-Factor does have some grunts nearby, but we'll see how effective this bombing run is. I wanted to stay focused on this push on the bottom, but I think the bombing run could be more impactful. He knows he's got Tech 2. Gets a decent amount of energy. This flak is probably going to shoot down the bombers very quickly. Manages to get the energy converters, but not really any substantial damage. I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, he got some decent-ish damage. Chisato is now hurting for energy, as we can see. But at the same time, he's just kind of delayed it. He lets himself lose yet another metal extractor. And another cheesy play about to happen here from Xfactor as he builds an amphibious lab. Don't often see those. As I have mentioned before when we've looked at this map, no one ever uses the water. It's like a key section of the map, but because there's no metal points or anything in there, there's no reason to try and contest the location. So, yeah. Be interesting to see if Chisato is able to defend against the amphibious attack. Now, what we will see here, looking here at the units Chisato is producing, he is producing Jaguars. Now, this is a very good choice. He knows the enemy has air, so shurikens for definite. And he knows he's got a huge group of grunts. Now, these tanks here are perfect. Not only do they have a little bit of AA on the back, but they also have the chain lightning. So they are perfect to deal with exactly what Xfactor has. Now, shurikens are a lot cheaper, and if he can EMP enough of the lightning tanks, it's not going to matter, but still, it's enough to put a stop in the thought of Xfactor's attack. He's also had to push back a little bit there on the north as well. You can see how quickly these lightning tanks are just obliterating these grunts. And another bombing run attempting here, which isn't going to work because the flak's still there. Again, spreading out his push. And he manages to get 4 energy converters and a little bit of wind. I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily worth it. I mean, he has started to build a decent amount of these salamanders. I think that is currently Xfactor's plan. He's actually reclaimed his bot lab. Interesting choice. Energy storage is being produced. This push here by Chisato is going to be somewhat difficult for Xfactor to stop, seeing as he has no actual main forces of himself left anymore, just grunts, which are going to be absolutely annihilated by the lightning tanks. Again, lightning tanks from the bottom as well. Xfactor just being stuck in this corner now. He does need to build something. He has transitioned to a vehicle lab and is building brutes. I'm surprised he hasn't reclaimed the air lab, to be honest with you. These grunts are literally doing nothing at all. Again, same hit on this side. Range of 320. You're going to be able to outrange any of these grunts, but here comes the amphibious landing force. Will they be able to pull off a massive turnaround? I'm gonna lie, I kind of expected them to do a little bit more damage quicker. But still, 3 Tech 2 metal extractors gone. At that 4. And quite a bit of wind damage right now. These pop-up lightning turrets, though, are making pretty short work of it. He is trying to push down the Tech 2 lab, but it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. There's so many construction turrets. Saying that again, he does actually manage to get the Tech 2 construction. At the same time, though, switching over to Xfactor's base, these lightning tanks are absolutely annihilating Xfactor's base. So much energy destroyed. And Xfactor sent back to the Stone Age. He's on a single metal extractor now. The Salamander's actually still alive, though. Just circling Chisato's base. Xfactor doing a good job at keeping his units just out of range of those lightning turrets. And now it's time for him to mop up the expansion of Chisato. I still feel Chisato in quite a bit of an advantage here. He's got this extra wind and energy storage he built elsewhere. And it is doing him well. He didn't really lose much in the way of build power, because look at all these construction turrets he's still got. Whereas Xfactor over here, he is really behind now. He has, using this muskrat amphibious construction bot here to get more build power out. He only has the 2 construction turrets that are actually able to really do much, and he has basically no energy production left. He has no expansion. The Salamander's doing a good job at killing off the expansion to the south of Chisato, but Chisato already back to Tech 2. So he needs to make the most of this. Xfactor, that is. Xfactor deciding to push up to the north. Oh, the Tech 2 defense, though, will do a marvelous job at keeping those salamanders at bay. And unfortunately, don't really end up accomplishing anything. Range on those is tremendous. The bulls will also make pretty quick work. And Xfactor knows that. He turns around, runs away. Actually runs into the wind farm of Chisato, and we can see in the bottom here, Xfactor completely stalled out for energy right now, only producing 500 energy a second as opposed to Chisato's 3.2k. Chisato does lose all of his energy storage though, which is going to hurt him a little bit. Great micro there from Xfactor. Now, one thing to note, as I said about vehicles not being able to pass up here, amphibious vehicles, different story. Amphibious vehicles have really high transversability, and as you can see, they're able to actually get in these hills. Whereas when we select the bull, massive sections of pink here saying that they cannot move through there at all. But I don't know how Xfactor is going to bring this back. Chisato's definitely in a very strong position here. Chisato has a clear plan for finish. Just build more bulls, overpower Xfactor. Xfactor, however, is in a position where he doesn't really have anything. He's relying purely on the resurrected units here to defend. He doesn't have Tech 2. He's still in Tech 1 and has, like, no energy. He's trying to get this geothermal up, which will help somewhat, but he's still going to be very long way behind, and unfortunately wasn't really able to impact Chisato's economy quite as much as he hoped. And we can see there's a bull there. These salamanders coming up now that were resurrected. And the lightning tanks do a fairly decent job at stopping those salamanders, forcing them into the water at least. But Xfactor just unable to expand, unable to really do anything. Chisato now at 100 economy advantage. When it comes to metal production, he was at 130. He is actually shown at 180 now, so even further ahead. And unfortunately, this is definitely a GG for Xfactor, unless he can pull off some amazing play and snipe the commander, which I just don't see happening. I don't see how he's going to manage to bring it back. All that time spent on that Geo, unfortunately, goes up in smoke. So do the energy converters. The bull will give a fairly decent amount of reclaim. Yeah, 900 there, 500 there, 600 there. But still, nowhere near enough here to make a difference. Xfactor trying to go for one last hurrah here, but it's going to get just absolutely squished as the Bulls also push into Xfactor's north. And Xfactor, unable to go to Tech 2 all game, has unfortunately kind of cost it for him. Deguns his own construction vehicle in the hopes to get the Bull there. And there we go. Xfactor goes up in smoke. Amphibious was a interesting tactic, but almost worked. If the commander was there, it may have worked out for him, but it wasn't. Well played to both players. Chisato winning this one, and thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.